3 habits to develop as a young man. Number 1, do your duty till the end, emotionally detached. Number 2, the habit of noticing what works and what repeats. Number 3, become a lifelong learner. And we're going to go over some points like life requires manhood, discipline, and responsibility, which equals maturity. We're going to go over improving yourself, improving how you sell, learning leadership, understanding communication, habits. 3, learning from others, mistakes and successes, take advice, have a mentor. And 3, become a lifelong learner, adapt and improve anything important. Learn about becoming an effective individual, unique. Learn about yourself, know others, and teach something you like. Is this required? Will my message make people stronger? 100%. The high consumption of the short form content is making people dumb. It's just simply frying the brain. You don't want that. You want to detach from all this noise and you want to build a proper relationship with your mind, with yourself. You want to be more direct. You want to live life the way you want, not the way other people are enforcing it onto you. And so we have point number 1, which is do your duty till the end, emotionally detached. What's the end and why emotionally detached? Great question. Let's see. So the end means when you start something, you finish it. And the end also means till the end of your life. As a man, written with capital M. And now why emotionally detached, you might ask? Because there are some things that require investment, time, energy, and resources, that kind of investment. And they can happen over the years. And there are some expectations, like when a man gets with a woman and they both invest in each other, but things are not running as smooth and they have to break everything apart and each starts on their own way and so on. There is a small amount of investment in there, you can't deny it. The time, the emotions, the memories, and all of that. There is also the investment where you go through a school or university and you don't like it. And you'll have to admit it and just pivot, choose something else to do with your life. That kind of stuff we're talking about. So you need to do your duty till the end. That's something you'll have to cultivate within yourself, and have as a mindset that you'll have to finish where you start. Now, there is a trick here because I don't want you to spend any longer than is required. You got to be able to discern what's good for you and what's not. I don't want you to spend time in something that's really dragging you down instead of uplifting you by all means, right? On all planes. So you'll have to be constantly aware of what serves you and what doesn't. And you'll have to cut the ties, right? But when you do, this is what I'm saying, emotionally detached. Be emotionally detached. That is, you'll have to employ some logic. And with this logic, you then come to the understanding by changing the meaning of things that everything has happened the way it should have. Now, what kind of duties we're talking about? First of all, life requires manhood. That means train, make money, and develop your character. You cannot neglect any of these. You'll have to develop yourself on all planes at once because your balance will be given by your weakest link in the chain. So develop all the links of all the chains you have. So train, make money, have a physical body properly, like train yourself physically, go to the gym, start boxing and develop yourself as a man from this standpoint, and then make money. And here you have to start your own business. You'll have to learn marketing and sales. If you read Jim Rohn's book on character, how to develop your character, you'll have a proper glimpse of how you can do it. All I can tell you now is that you can check a man's character by looking at their intentions. So train, make money, and develop your character. Training, it's easy. You find the gym and you start training with the lightest of weights. You don't lift everything. You just start slowly. This is the secret. You don't want to jump into advanced. You want to start as a beginner if you're not doing it yet. Making money is a bit tricky, but it's not difficult. You just have to set yourself in mind that you will want to make money and then put yourself in a position of making those money. The ways are possible. There is AI models which can help you understand something you don't until you grasp the full meaning of the thing in question. And so there is no excuse as of why you couldn't do anything from this standpoint, right? Like creating content, like monetizing your expertise or your experience, and you can still do something. And with these points, we have be flexible but strict, because we're installing discipline over the duties we now have. And so we need to be strict, but not too strict. You'll have to be flexible. You'll have to be like water, which is the point of emotionally detached, right? We have emotion, which is investment and expectation, but we have a better chance at life to live longer and be emotionally stable when we are emotionally detached. Because when you're emotionally detached, you create in yourself a state of non-resistance, which is highly recommended. Why? Because when you adopt non-resistance, Nothing surprises you. In a way, you're prepared for everything in life, for good and bad. And so this is what flexibility means, and especially being emotionally detached. Emotionally detached can make you flexible. And this flexibility will offer you non-resistance. It will allow you to flow. In a way, it's tricky to achieve, but as soon as you employ discipline, you do become a different man. By telling yourself you will be a different man if you detach yourself emotionally and you start doing things emotionally detached. Just know behind your mind that when you do things emotionally detached, just let your subconscious mind take over the stuff, right? Your conscious mind's task is to let your subconscious mind dictate the whole outcome of situations, because your subconscious mind is only providing the intention. Everything else relies on the universal power and your power, your subconscious power, to be more precise. That inner power that's not visible is only felt, right? Your conscious mind is basically nothing. It should serve as the guardian to what goes into the subconscious mind, into the fertile soil. But at times it fails to do that. And so your job is to live life through intention, emotionally detached of the outcome, of the expectations, and of what people think of you, especially this. And here, you also set your mindset on finishing where you start. So be a disciplined man, but be flexible. Become fixated in your mind that you will start something and you will finish it, regardless of how it's going to turn out. But do your best. Make it be properly. Make it be okay. Do it to the best of your ability. And just set the intention with your conscious mind of what you want to do, and then detach your logical mind and your emotional mind and let your feeling mind take over that duty and complete it. It will require some attention at first, but it's not impossible. It's something you can do. It's trainable. Next, we have take on goals, big goals. Also work on them day and night. You want to work on your goals day and night. On the day you can't fully work on your goal, you will have to visualize it, right? I highly recommend you do visualize your goals every night and every morning. But when you can't work on them, at least visualize. Remember this. And when you can't visualize, just work on them. Please understand this. It has to be one of the two. But the question is, why not both? Right? You can visualize and also work to the smallest amount, to the smallest degree possible for your goal. If it's really something worth paying for, and don't wait for the perfect moment. I'll start X when I have Y. It doesn't work like that. You'll have to start dreaming so badly in the present moment. You'll have to start living that reality. You'll want it so bad, but make sure you don't fall into delusion. You'll have to be aware. Have an identity, don't have the expectation for the thing you want, which kind of pairs with emotional investment and expectation. Emotion equals investment and expectation. But when you live in a state of non-resistance, then you can fully be without expecting something, if you understand. Try to find that frequency. It works, especially when you work on your goal. And don't forget, take on responsibility, because responsibility equals maturity. This is a sign of becoming a man, taking on responsibility. And for you as a young man, you need this. So take on responsibility. Don't be afraid to fail. Especially, I'm editing my notes real time, right? So do your duty till the end. Emotionally detached. And we have a different point here. Fail on purpose. We have another point now. Fail on purpose. You want to fail on purpose. Seek discomfort. Seek to lose. You want to fail on purpose. Fail on purpose. Seek discomfort. Seek to lose. And you'll be a different man. You either get a lesson or a win. There's no such thing as losing. No, it's just a perception of other people. Remember, when you detach from other people, then you become an emotionally mature man, despite of what other people say. You detached. You do your duty, right, till the end. And that implies living in your own world. Living in your own world might mean failing on purpose. And you will have to take yourself with that. If you want to grow, if you want to see what's on the other side of the balance, you can surely do this. Read Jordan Peterson on how to do this properly. It's a long study to undertake, but it's worth it. Before we move on point number 2, please remember non-resistance. This is what emotionally detached means. You don't want to resist any bad events when they happen. Just go through them. Emotionally detached. Nothing is permanent, just love impermanence. Time will swallow everything. Rust will rust any metal. And so why resist? Why trying to hold on to things? No, just do your duty till the end. Fulfill your mission as a man, whatever your mission might be. But just don't resist stuff. If stuff don't go your way, then just let it be and be with it. This is what non-resistance is. Controlling what you can, and that is your attitude towards things. Because you can't stop stuff from happening. Events will never stop around you. You play just the small parts, but you will never be able to control anything. Just yourself, and with it, just your attitude towards things. Number 2, the habit of noticing what works and what repeats. You will have to get into the habit of noticing around you everything that works everything that repeats, and learn from it. Does this require you to employ a conscious filter for everything? In a way, yes. But don't make it for everything, just make it for what's important to you. It will serve you so much. And here we want to specifically, in my opinion, be noticing two things. First of all, is improving yourself. And the second is improve how you sell. Let's take them one by one. Improve yourself. Here, you'll need to learn leadership. You'll need to understand communication, and especially nonverbal communication. Also, you'll need to notice your habits. You will need to notice your habits, especially unconscious ones. Learning leadership, if you want to learn leadership, learn how to control your state. Learn to take on perspectives. Learn to never judge people. If you follow just these 3 points, they will take a long way, right? Because people always want to be led. They want somebody to look up to. They will always want that. So your position as a leader is easily achievable only when you employ the state of being a leader. From now on, just do a quick exercise. Just walk along the street and imagine the people you see are working for you. Do this exercise. When you go into a coffee shop, when you go with somebody, or even hanging out with your friends, imagine they all work for you and see the different feeling that comes up in you. That's leadership. This is how it feels. You can even do it now without being around people, right? And that's how it feels. And this leadership side can only be maintained by maintaining your state on purpose of being a leader. And again, acting from the emotionally detached perspective. And we do this specifically because we want to control the frame. You don't try to control the frame consciously. You do it unconsciously, assuming a cooperative frame. Nobody's there to put you down or tell you what to do. Everybody in your life is there to serve you, to show you what's good for you. If somebody wants to put you down, they're actually cooperating with you. If you start to employ this lens from now on, you've just discovered one of the biggest secrets in leadership. You can never be affected, especially when you are emotionally detached, especially when you take on responsibility and you follow through with discipline on everything you set your mind to do, right? So study leadership is very important in improving yourself. And here you also want to notice what works and what doesn't, and specifically what repeats with these two dynamics. Next, we have communication, nonverbal communication. If you take on the leadership state exercise I just gave you, you will understand intrinsically the nonverbal communication. It will be way easier for you because you come from a state of power, of leading other people towards their good. Then you'll have to notice your habits, right? Get into the habit of noticing your habit. What works and what doesn't for you in your life, right? In order to do this, you'll need to take a third person's perspective on your life, on your habits, on everything you do, and especially what you do unconsciously. That's governing your life, right? You'll have to really look at yourself as a stranger would, and from there you'll get so much clarity. And also, bro, when you do this, you'll need the courage to change what you need to change, because you will see it, you will see it's there, and look, I need to change this, and I'm being honest with myself, and from there I'm having the courage to do my duty till the end. Emotionally detached though, even if it's about you, you will still have to employ non-resistance. That is, be flexible, brother. Don't resist. Let your mind take on different shapes. That's emotionally detached in a nutshell for you. So looking at your habits, it's very important for you to do, right? If you know you'll have to quit smoking now to serve you 20 years later when your body is gonna thank you, then do it. If you want to start going to the gym, if you want to build a body, if you want to start meditating, if you want to know more women, if you want to have more friends, if you want to make more content, if you want to travel more, if you want to distribute the money differently in your business, then do it. Why not? But of course, you need courage and be emotionally detached. You'll have to take cold-blooded execution and action towards your biggest goals. That requires discipline and being flexible but strict. Part 2, number 2, improve how you sell. You'll need to understand marketing and sales, which I have. So you'll have to improve how you sell, because you're selling 24/7, even in your dreams. Sometimes, yeah, it's possible, but mostly when you're awake. In your interactions with people, you're selling all the time. So start seeing everything through this lens. Train yourself consciously to notice the dynamic where the sale takes place in every conversation, and you'll see it. It's there. You are selling, you're being sold. There is a great book, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I highly suggest you read that book. It's slightly lengthy, but it's good. And everything on advertising. You'll have to study material for sales and writing, especially for writing copy, writing mails, writing articles, writing YouTube scripts, writing tweets, writing posts, and so on. On the internet, the basis is writing today. You will have to get good at writing, at articulating your ideas. If you want to have people following you, if you want to have people looking up to you, if you want to stress points clearly, if you want to be an authority in the end. So you will have to start writing and learning sales. And remember, the basis in sales is enthusiasm. You don't need lines, you don't need any metrics or anything. If you believe in your product, if you really believe genuinely that your product does a good job, when you know your skill, your marketing is different. And when your product is good, you don't need marketing because the product is built in marketing. And also study the work of Seth Godin. Read his books and you'll be a different man at the end of them. You'll understand what it takes in today's economy. And lastly here, you will have to iterate as you go, improve as you go, with other words. Part 2, number 3, learn from others. At this point, you want to learn from other people's mistakes and successes. The best way to do it, first of all, have real life examples as of what not to do. And also, successes can be studied from books on the individuals that have what you want, or they just an expert or authority on something and you want to learn from them. So study books, get courses, read articles, and read advanced information for the thing you're now building. And that's going to build yourself in the end. And this is how you improve long term. Next, we have take advice. You don't want to try everything on your own, bro. You don't have enough time in this world to try and go through all the mistakes and learn on your own what works, what doesn't, you know? So simply take advice. How should you take this advice? Taking advice should be engaging. It needs to be done in a state of curiosity. So cultivate that desire to know and learn and understand, right? Take the delta between what you learn and what you know, right? That difference is how you learn. And also take advice from somebody who's having what you want. And this is how you grow. It's the only way. You'll need to have people around you that are having what you want. Are they the best channel for taking an advice? They need to be a master. If you haven't read Robert Greene's Mastery book, I highly suggest you read. It's a lengthy book indeed, but it covers these aspects by a very big margin. Next on this point is have a mentor, somebody who's a few steps ahead of you. You don't need somebody, a teacher or a coach that's way ahead of you. If you ask me from my experience, those guys have already forgotten the basics. You need somebody who's ahead of you with a few steps. They don't need to have crazy results, but they need to know their way around. And there could be a mutual exchange of value, you know, and information and insights. And so build on that. But make sure you have somebody, not necessarily that you look up to, but somebody that can give you a hand from a position that's slightly above yours. And you start from there. Next, we have part number 3, or the habit number 3, which is become a lifelong learner. And we have a few subpoints. Point number 1, adapt and improve. Anything important. Your life energy should be exchanged for something that's improving humanity and yourself in the process. You don't want to live on this earth just being self-centered or self-focused too much. So this anything important we're talking about should involve a work for other people. I'll let you guess, or now I'll let you brainstorm what you're good at, something you're doing, then that should be your go-to. So this point, adapt and improve, should be employed with anything you do, anything that's important for you, right? You'll have to improve the way you lift in the gym. You'll have to improve how you make your listings. You'll have to improve the way you conduct business. You'll have to improve how you managing your relationships. You'll have to improve how you dress, how you look after yourself, your connection to the whole, the way you talk to other people, and everything in between. You'll have to improve anything and adapt. Adaptation, as we have it, is literally non-resistance. When you don't resist stuff, you can easily adapt. You become more resilient. These traits will make you a different man. As a young man, you will have to adopt adapting. Is your foremost resource in taking on different shapes. Adaptation is non-resistance. Leaving your old ways behind and taking on new locations, new roles, new stuff to work on will make you a different man. Because you never know what's good for you until you try it. You can sense it by the energy, but until you do it, you're not fully convinced. So start living from the inside, being this powerful individual that just drives itself in a powerful state, being emotionally detached. Being emotionally detached, again, implies being adaptive. You will have to cultivate this. It will help you. It will offer you your brain plasticity and your mind plasticity. It will help you understand different people. So adapt. Don't be fixed in your beliefs. Don't be fixed in your ways of life, and never be fixed about yourself. That is being fixed about being fixed. That's a self-reinforcing loop and is dragging so many people down. Adapting and improve. Next, we have learn about becoming an effective individual, and this will give you uniqueness. You want to be unique, brother. You want to develop these traits, right? You want to have something most people only dream, and everything starts with yourself. You'll have to improve yourself. How would you increase your rates on becoming effective? What does an effective individual mean? First of all, I like to say that it ties up with our point number 1. Do your duty till the end, because you're not wasting resources. You're just fully committed and you go through the thing until you finish it. That's an effective individual. So you see how much weight it carries, at least the way we put it today in this video. Then you'll have to pay close attention to these traits precisely to do your duty till the end, because people in today's day have a very short attention span, and this leads only to trouble. No, be different. Be the other kind. Watch long-form content that's really instructive and not just entertainment for a few seconds, brother. The neurons are fried, the dopamine receptors are fried of somebody who's watching short-form content. But you be different. Be the other guy. Be the guy that's creating long-form content and providing real value for other people and actually using his brains to become a new person. So look at yourself for where you are and improve. If the situation looks bad, you start from there. You don't back down, because you have no other chance. This is not a game where you can cheat. You'll have to beat the game by doing the right thing at the right time. And so you, being a young man, you will have to be an effective individual. Now you know what that means. And this will give you uniqueness, especially when you are surrounded by people who consume short-form content. And so that's your edge. Part 3.3. Learn yourself, know others, and teach something you like. In the habit of becoming a lifelong learner, you will want to teach others as a byproduct of your understanding of this world, your experiences, the way you see world, your lenses. You will have to express them. Not your feelings, not your emotions, but just the way you see things. And that could include your biases, which is good. It shows you are unique. You don't want to be absolute, but you just want to be yourself. And if you resonate, which you will have people looking up to you. Believe me, it always works. And I'm talking precisely about teaching something you like. So learn yourself. What does it mean? Bro, you need to learn about yourself. As I said, you will need to understand your habits, what works and what repeats in your life, precisely around your habits, your vices, your influences, what you consume, how often, why'd you do it, obviously your unconscious behavior. Also, if you slightly inclined to know yourself fully, study your dreams. Study your dreams. And if you want to understand yourself fully, I highly suggest you start with the work of Carl Jung. Making the unconscious conscious is a bit... This is a tricky work. I'm still doing it. I don't know everything about this subject with dreams and all that, but I'm still digging it. I have some symbols, I've seen dreams and all that, and I'm still getting my head around it. I've studied different books on dreams and all that, so I'm still a student. I'm not perfect, you know? And I think we all are, and we all gonna be until we die. And of course, this is a price I pay. It's the only way forward, right? In the end. And yeah, teach something you like. And again, remember what I said about having a mentor? You'll have to only be with a few steps ahead of somebody who's below you. And if you reach this position, it's way easier for you to go ahead, especially when you're curious about life, when you develop this habit of being a lifelong learner, being curious, developing yourself on all sides, on all areas, and becoming this man. This would imply learning yourself consciously and unconsciously. It would mean looking at yourself as a stranger would, obviously, but you will have to employ a bit of compassion. You don't want to be cold when you self-analyzing yourself, but you want to be direct. As I said, flexible but strict. And in this process, you also want to know others. What does it mean? See how other people are operating through the world. They're all different and they all have ups and downs. And they're mostly complacent if you look left and right in society. Try to understand this behavior. What drives the need and the will for staying the same? Years on end. What problems do they have? How do they compare to yours? You know, put things in this perspective and see what comes up. What would you do if you were them? Have your mind occupy different scenarios. Be curious about life. Be curious about people. Don't spend too much time dwelling on their problems. Just try to understand them, and this will give you an upper edge in understanding human behavior. And there's loads of books on this, but I highly suggest you do your own study so you can write the books. But a great point would be to study Robert Greene's books on human behavior and Patrick King, right? Some of the two authors I like on this subject. And precisely I'm making a reference to The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. It's a very good book. I highly suggest you start with. Also the 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction and everything that Robert Greene has. They're all very good. I highly suggest you read. In your pursuit of knowing others, okay? And this is the map I came up with as a young man. You will need to develop these habits, which is more like maps. They are some traits of character you will have to develop and install in yourself. These are not stuff you can learn overnight. They require years of effort, of sustained effort, emotionally detached, until they get in the position of you liking them because you have nothing else to like, and your brain will start liking them easily. When you suppress something you do for pleasure and you give your brain something to study, something to understand, and you do it repeatedly, the brain starts to assign the new behavior with the new identity you've now formed, and that becomes the only thing the brain will want to do. It's crazy, but it's a trick you'll have to use. So the 3 habits as a young man: do your duty till the end, emotionally detached. Life requires manhood, discipline, responsibility, which is maturity. Here, you want to be non-resistant. 2, the habit of noticing what works and what repeats, specifically at improving yourself and improving how you sell, right? You want to notice in these 2 areas, and also learning from others. And habit number 3, becoming a lifelong learner. Adapt and improve anything that's important to you. 2, learning about becoming an effective individual, unique. And 3, learning yourself, knowing others, and teaching something you like. This map is very deep, but I think this constitutes the 3 foremost habits by which I run. By no means I'm perfect, but still I'm a work in progress. And with me, so many others. So why not take these and we can slowly start to improving ourselves. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the other videos. Bye.